Hi, I'm Amy Liss. My partner Amber Nesbitt and I founded Campus Integrity Group after leading the nation's only oversight body for staff on student sexual misconduct for the third largest school district in the country. We now bring our expertise to schools, families, attorneys, insurers, and youth-serving organizations nationwide with a focus on misconduct investigations involving minors, prevention strategies, and compliance with Title IX and other state and federal regulations. Today's video is about the difference between being proactive and reactive in the face of alleged misconduct. Every institution is already on one of these two paths right now. One is proactive, the other is reactive. And most administrators don't choose consciously. They just end up on the reactive path because nothing urgent has forced the conversation yet. This isn't about scaring anyone. It's about helping you see clearly which path you're on and what it would take to shift toward the other one. Let's look at what each path actually looks like in practice. On the reactive side, a school waits for an incident before it examines its own policy. It scrambles to respond once legal and media pressure are already building. It rebuilds trust with families only after that trust has already been broken. And every case feels like a surprise because nothing has been done to anticipate it. On the proactive side, the work happens earlier. Policy gets reviewed before a gap is ever tested. Staff are trained to recognize and escalate concerns before they escalate on their own. Trust with families is built steadily over time, not repaired after a crisis. And prevention becomes routine, not an emergency response. Neither path is about being perfect. It's about whether the system exists before it's needed. When people think about the cost of reacting, they usually think about legal fees first. That's real, but it's often not the biggest cost. Time is the first one. Investigations and litigation can stretch on for months, sometimes years, and that pulls leadership's attention away from the students in front of them every single day. Legal exposure is the second. Delayed or absent policy is exactly what an attorney will point to when arguing that a district failed its duty of care. Community trust is the third, and it's the hardest to get back. Families who feel that a report was mishandled don't stay quiet, and rebuilding that trust takes far longer than losing it did. And staff morale is the fourth. A crisis response pulls counselors, teachers, and administrators away from the students who need them, right when they might need them most. This is something we want to make sure you leave with, because it's more manageable than people expect. Policy review means checking that what's written in your handbook actually matches what's happening in your classrooms and hallways. Risk assessment means identifying where a report could fall through the cracks before a family finds that gap for you. Staff training means teaching people to recognize early warning signs and know exactly who to bring a concern to. And reporting systems mean building a clear, trusted pathway so students and families know their concern will actually be followed through, not just filed away. None of this requires a total overhaul. It's ongoing maintenance, not a massive project. Let's walk through a short list, and we'd invite you to just notice quietly which of these feel familiar to you. Policies that only get updated after something goes wrong. Staff who aren't sure exactly who to report a concern to. Training that happened once, years ago, and hasn't been touched since. Hiring that moves quickly without much time spent on background vetting. Complaints handled case by case with no consistent process behind them. And leadership that only hears about a concern once it's already serious. If any of these sound familiar, that doesn't mean that your school or institution has failed. It usually just means that prevention hasn't been prioritized yet, and that's something you can change starting right now. Here's a recent example that clearly illustrates what we've been talking about. A California school district is now facing a third lawsuit tied to a former elementary school counselor accused of abusing students over nearly 2 decades. According to reporting, the district received reports of concerning behavior years before his arrest, and they allowed him to resign without notifying parents, after which he went on to work at other schools. The family's attorney described a pattern she sees again and again across districts: short, unexplained job changes that go unquestioned at hiring, and a habit of moving a problem employee along instead of reporting them. This is the story that plays out when the systems we just talked about, vetting, training, and a real escalation process, aren't in place. Those systems are what stand between a red flag and a headline like this one. Every school is going to spend time and resources on safety one way or another. The question isn't whether you'll pay. It's whether you pay to recover or you pay to prevent. Paying to recover looks like legal fees and settlement costs, investigation timelines measured in months, crisis communications, and staff time pulled away from students. Paying to prevent looks like a focused policy review or risk assessment, training sessions measured in hours rather than months, and trust with families that build steadily instead of needing to be repaired. Neither path is free, but one of them is a choice you make on your own terms. If you're wondering where to start, here's a simple way to think about it. First, assess. Get an honest picture of where your policy, training, and reporting actually stand today, not where you think they stand. Second, prioritize. Rank the gaps by what's most likely to cause harm if it's left alone. And third, train. Equip your staff to recognize concerns early and know exactly how to escalate them. And fourth, sustain. Revisit your policy and training regularly, not just after something has gone wrong. You don't need to fix everything at once. You just need to stop waiting for the next incident to tell you what did need fixing. So what's the bottom line? The best time to prepare was before. The second best time is now. And that's really what this whole video comes down to. Proactive prevention is key, and it's never too late to get started. And that's a wrap. Thanks for watching. If you have any questions or want more information on any of our services and how we may be able to help support you now or in the future, we offer a free 60-minute consultation. You can sign up for it on our website. Thanks again, and we'll see you next time.